when we go to China, we usually take samples to various factories to manufacture what we want. For them, what they did was to make a stockpile of garments, like they were as if making sugar or salt. It is only sugar and salt that can be manufactured in that way. Why? With the fashion and designs, fashions keep changing. They can demand demand from you a new design every after 2 weeks. And that's exactly what they did to them. After manufacturing about 3 types of jeans, they found themselves in a quagmire. People didn't want to buy them again. And we are their potential customers, by the way. But people were not buying from them again because they had no new fashion in their shelves. Okay. So what they did, they went to the president themselves, escorted by the minister for investment, you know her. When they reached in the eyes of the president, they told him that we came as investors. But these people who are still importing have made it practically impossible for us to sell our commodities. So they complained because they said they had gone to China and ascertained that they are indeed we were hoodwinking revenue URA, that we were buying goods at a cheaper price. As I earlier told you, that in taxation, the primary method of taxation is by invoice value. Okay. So they went, I don't know where, bought some jeans, I don't know how many, and came with a receipt bearing $6.5. So in our old tariff, we had a value of 1.75. Now they told the president that unless something's done, our business is going to collapse. So they were suggesting that we pay 6.5, a rise from 1.75, which is abnormal and unviable. Now, URA, through its bodies, the valuation team, went on Google and said they searched for jeans that were for as low as 4.75. So they put our value for the jeans at 4.75, increasing this from 1.75. 1.75 is an equivalent of around 4,500. Now we are having an increment from 1.75 to around 11,500, which is abnormal. Yes. So that's why we rose an alarm, and a big one indeed. Okay. And I think we have been through a lot of meetings together with the CIGI, Commissioner General of URA. And on that day, when we met the CIGI, I was one of the people who was supposed to be among the main speakers, because I'm the coordinator for attire and KACITA. Okay. But in that very meeting, we found out that several people were invited, and those people were not dealing in garments. So there is a scenario that came about. Somebody came in with a wedding budget on a burial ceremony. And that's what confused the part of the meeting. So I didn't have enough time to deliberate on what I was supposed to deliver. So I got around 3 to 4 minutes for a presentation that was supposed to last about 15 minutes. So I didn't put out what I wanted to put on floor. So because I clearly indicated that much as these Chinese people are claiming that their genes, that all genes in China are at 6.5. I told the officer that indeed there are some more genes that are even higher than 6.5. This is now where logic is. There are some other genes that are more than 6.75. There are even other genes that can go up to $100. But that's not our preference as Ugandans. Because when you bring them here, very few people will afford. So, in that exchange, I also told the SIGI that indeed, much as he's suggesting that we should provide our invoices, I reminded him that there is no law whatsoever that penalizes anyone for not producing their invoice. And I stand by it. There is no law that compels any importer or client who is intending to pay taxes to produce his or her invoice. Because if there was any law, a law is accompanied with a punishment. That's why these people, the World Trade Organization, put up several methods to cure any encumbrances which might occur during the process of clearing goods. They went ahead and said, if method 1 fails, the add value method, you go to the next one. And if the next one fails, you go to the next one. And more still, with this invoice value method, you might be 2 different importers. One, if one has his or her invoice, he or she will produce it for valuation if it fits him, but it will be foolhardy for anyone who has an invoice which bears $14 and in the guidelines there is 10. It would be foolhardy. You will be a fool of a century to produce such an invoice. Because it is logic. In your guideline, you have, let's say, 12. I have an invoice of 20. Why should I produce such an invoice? That's why they put up several methods to cure all these problems that might occur during the process of clearing your goods. Now, the law goes ahead and quotes and says that with the method 4 and 5, they are subject to reversal application on request by the importer, because it is also logic. In your computers you have $10. If you have 10, I have an item that costs 15,000. If I find out that when we use deductive method to arrive at the price of a commodity purchased in China, is the taxes for this method are lesser than the ones in your guideline, I think I would request you to use the deductive method. And the law is clear, it is provided for. But the militarism that is meted upon us, the importers, is the very reason as to why we are arriving at this quagmire at this point. And I don't know whether it is inadvertently or advertently. There are some people in URA who have made it impossible for importers to clear their goods. Why is it so? We have people who formulated several bureaucracy tendencies at URA that will make the process so tedious and make everything complicated for you. They'll toss you around until when you give up.
Okay, let's first talk about the implications of such taxes to especially you.
The implication of such taxes.
Of these taxes that have been an increase.
Since I told you I'm the coordinator for URA and the KACITA, I've been following. I begin following tax policies from the time when the budget process engagements begin. And I'm alerted by my chairman on every meeting that is held. The last one that was held was, I think, I don't remember very well because I attended via Zoom. But I think it was in Protea Hotel. I attended via Zoom, and it was organized by private sector foundation, of which we subscribe. And I vividly emphasized and informed those people that they should consider revising the 10% increment that was imposed on garments after increasing it from 25 to 35. During that process, several of our business people hung their boats. Since then, some of them have never been seen again. Some are riding borders, some are in the villages digging, some are taxi drivers, some have flown abroad for greener pastures.
Okay.
So that's the impact of taxes. Because you can never do business when you have such taxes. The taxes are too high. And whenever we complain, these people think we are only pretending. But in the actual sense, these are high taxes. I don't know whether your presenter, I mean, should I call him a producer, can avail us with a link I forwarded to him of the jeans that are manufactured in China and are sold according to the quantity you buy.
Okay.
Now, this is where the area of our contention is. The Chinese man who said he went to a shop and bought a jean, I don't know whether he bought one or two. Because when you go to a shop, your demeanor will tell a lot to somebody who is selling to you.
Okay. And
even the amount you intend to buy. Because a jean that goes for $6 can also go for $4. Yeah, for 2 up to 1, depending on the quantity you buy. Oh, okay. And this is why I need this gentleman, the Chinese man, to produce his receipt and we see how many he bought. Okay. Because this is logic. Like the survey they are intending to conduct. I told it I communicated it to the person responsible for the shortlisting of the names that we are going to go for the survey. That you are going for a survey in a market where I went, bought a piece of shirt, let's say for $7. I went to a town that is 500 kilometers to make a copy of that shirt. And I made a copy of that shirt, which was initially at 10. and got a shirt at $2. Now you are going to that market where I bought a sample, okay. to ask for prices. Are you really going to arrive at the actual prices I bought my shirt?
No.
And is that where you are going to base your taxes? That's where our argument is. Because there is no serious trader or importer that will go to Lihua market or Yulong and purchase goods. It's only these boutiques, those boutique owners that will go for those items because they sell in pieces. But if you are a serious trader, you will not go for those items because, first of all, they are highly priced. You will not sell, and everybody will go for them. Then business is all about secrecy and obscurantism. If you don't hide yourself, people will follow you. Now URA needs to give us a free ticket to Guangzhou. I take him to the factory where I manufacture my goods. Before all this conundrum, these people didn't know where traders used to buy tiles. But right now, after knowing the place, there is only one importer that doesn't pay taxes, and is based in KACITA.
Okay.
The rest, taxes were hiked. And during the advertisements I hear on radio, these days I don't hear them. I think they have enough customers now. They always announce, we have both imported and locally manufactured tiles. But the taxes they imposed on those tiles were deterrent taxes. So this is where we are now. If we open up to these officers and take them to the place where we buy our goods, our business will be gone. Even at this time, when taxes are, when we are still using the old database, the old taxes, because we are given a moratorium of 30 days. Initially, they had given us 10. We went to Afande Nakalema, who convened a meeting with the CC, and we reached a dialogue. They accepted us to pay our taxes within the remaining 30 days. From that day, we met Afande Nakalema. Now, after the elapse of this period, the new taxes, that the new database will be reintroduced.
Okay.
And more still, the SIG was suggesting that he has a lot of pressure behind him. He must complete this exercise by 14th, I think this is today. We told him, now look here, the garments section has over 1,200 tariff lines. Now you want to deal with only, because the items now in contention were only two. We had not envisaged that indeed there were some other items in the guideline that were, whose taxes were also hiked. For example, there was a polyester dress that initially was 2.5. It was put at $15. Polyester, a short one, which goes for 12,000 downtown, between 12,000 and 15,000. So that's the impact of taxes on the traders.
Okay, and how about the consumers? Are you minding about them? What happens when the taxes do affect you? Don't you now resort to hiking the price of the actual shirt or the actual jean in the shop?
Now, presently, the potential customers we have are the people who buy the smaller quantities, the consumers themselves. Yet we are importers. Now we are in a quagmire because we are giving out our products at a retail price, at a wholesale price to consumers. That's where we are. Now, the few people who have remained that are buying from us are some Congolese, a few of them. He or she comes with a paper with names listed. Mama Kabaseke, Mama Joani, Mama Rita, Mama Kandate, Mami Peter, Pierre, because they use French. He or she purchases these items with sizes listed. Imagine a person who imported in bulk is selling to somebody who needs only one size from his stock. So he meanders all around those shops looking for the cheapest price, but he's purchasing for consumers. He's not a wholesaler. He's neither a retailer nor a wholesaler. He's like somebody who has come on a trip. Now, right now, these people who used to buy from us have found an alternative route. They are now purchasing their goods from Kenya right now. When you go to Kenya, a full suit costs $20. But in our database, the cheapest tax for the cheapest suit of polyester 100% is $38.
Wow.
The other one is 20 when I'm buying. The taxes for this suit, and the other one is not polyester, by the way. The other one is cotton or polycotton, but it is 20 because it is 3,000 Kenya shillings. I intended to travel to Taveta. This is a town around southeast of Nairobi. It is around 360 kilometers. I would have traveled yesterday, but I failed to get a connecting flight from Nairobi to Taveta. There is some business expedition I want to make. There is a gentleman who imports his goods from China. I mean Turkey. He sells a suit at $30 wholesale. He sells 60 of the same suit at $60 at retail price. Now here comes our database. This same suit
sounds like a misery. Sounds like a misery.
No, this is what we are going through. And when we come out to air out our grievances, these people think we are shedding crocodile tears. This is what is on ground.
Wow.
If you go to Taveta now, because I've been in constant communication with this gentleman, I was inquiring about whether he has jackets, whether he has a branch in Nairobi, because I didn't want to travel that far, because I might even fail to get a connecting flight, because a flight to Nairobi right now is 480. That is 1.8. Now, flying from Nairobi to Taveta may cost you around 150 again. Yeah. But that's not the big issue, because when you are up to something, you must put in also. So that's where we are now. Now, when we go back to the bureaucracy tendencies at URA, which have made business impossible, these bureaucracies include, after you import goods and they arrive at the warehouses, these bureaucracies at URA include validation of TI. Before you are flawed, they appoint a verification officer. Then you go into the verification process. That is counting of goods. After verification process, this is the third step. You go to reconciliation to reconcile. Whoever has goods in the container must come and they reconcile to ascertain whether the goods in the container he loaded are the actual goods. Wow. And if one of those people inside that container does not provide information concerning his goods, there will be no reconciliation. I mean, the reconciliation process will stop there. There will be no uploading of VA, because now we want to upload a VA after reconciliation. After reconciliation, number 5, you go to upload of VA from warehouse. Now we go to examination of VA. By 3 bodies, we have the mobile examination team, MET. We have the national target collection, that is 2. And we have the intelligence. They are all stationed at URA.
Okay.
This, after now examination, we go to number 6. Approval of VA from warehouse. We go to number 8. Generation of transfer forms to different consignees. Number 9. Payment of transfer forms. You load your goods after being asked to provide your TIN number and the names. You provide everything. Now, when goods are in bond, they tell you to pay for transfer fees from the names of the company that shipped your goods to your names. We go to 10. Request for transfer of ownership by warehousing. Number 11. Capturing of IM4. We are still in the process of clearing goods.
Oh, yes.
Number 12. First payment. This is now when you you put in, you pay. You go for the first payment. Now, after the first payment, you go for valuation in the DPC to value your goods. We go to number 4. They give you values. They may uplift these values or maintain them according to what you have submitted. If these values are maintained, you are the luckiest person. If your first payment is maintained. Number 14, release from DPC. Number 15, release from UNBS.
Wow.
Number 16, exit from BWIMS. This is bond and warehousing management system. And number 17, lastly, exit from bond. Each process at least carries 1 day.
Carries what?
1 day. The process I've read here.
Those are all.
And all these processes are carried out by different officers.
Wow.
So we have around over 10 officers handling your VA. I mean your entry.
That is so absurd. Now, I think as time gears up, let us go back to the reform that you have put forward for the 30 days. What if URA, what are the main demands in this reform, and what happens after the 30 days are done and there is no response?
Our main demands rather in these reforms, there are some ambiguous descriptions in the guidelines which need to be revised. Especially if you have a shirt and it is a cotton shirt, it has an embroidery somewhere. Like the one I have, this is an embroidery, no, this is not. And it has an embroidery somewhere. Why would you go ahead to describe this shirt, cotton shirt with an embroidery? Okay. If you have a sharia, it has bead stones. Why would you go ahead and describe a sharia as a sharia with stones? A cotton sharia or polyester sharia with stones? Now, it is unfortunate that there is nobody who is putting on a jacket. Now, if you go to jackets, a jacket will be described in the database as a jacket, blazer, formal jacket, and another one is a coat. Each of these descriptions means different prices for each description. This is abnormal, and it is not called for. Why would you describe a lady's panty as sexy? How do you determine whether a panty is sexy or not?
Okay, so that is also
these are some of the reforms we want. Wow. Another reform, because I also forwarded this to one of the officers in the trade. I asked him to give me a justification why some goods that are imported from West are highly charged as compared to goods that are imported from China, especially Turkey, Great Britain, India, Thailand. Those goods are highly priced. When you compare the taxes, the tax of a trouser that is imported from China is levied 4.5 as they put it in the new guidelines. But when you bring that one from Turkey, it will be charged $9. And another one which comes from Great Britain will be charged $15. Is there any justification for these taxes?
Okay.
That's what I asked him. I think if these reforms are done, what they should do right now is to decrease on the taxes.
Okay. Because
the taxes are too high. Even with the current taxes now, nobody can clear goods. If you clear right now, you will be selling at a loss. That's why people are dropping out of business. Okay. And within a very few time, those shops down there are going to close. It will be a matter of time. They are going to close because there is no business.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't sell an item at a wholesale price and you are selling to a consumer. It is unbelievable.
But there are some shops where you find prices are too high, and when you go to like downtown, same jean, it is low. So what brings up those variations?
The variations come as a result of people who buy from downtown and sell upstairs.
Oh, okay.
So that's where the variances are, because these shops, the ones some people buy from retail shops like the boutiques. Okay. We even went ahead and they dismissed some of the descriptions in the guidelines. Some officers were describing some items in the guidelines as boutique type. When do you know this shirt is sold from a boutique? Those are some of the reforms we want.
Wow.
And before we return to business, we want all these solved. We don't expect it to go into arms with these people.
Okay.
Because so we are doing this for our nation.
What efforts have you put so far? And how many days have elapsed among the 30 days you've given URA? And are you engaging URA in these talks?
The ultimatum we gave His Excellency was also 30 days. They end on the 8th.
Okay.
The moratorium that was given to us by URA ends, I think, this month.
This month?
Yeah.
Okay. And what do we expect after it has ended?
Now, I think it will be lock and key. We'll go for industry action.
Wow.
Because even right now, it's as if we have already locked our shops. People are stranded in their shops without goods. They have waited for ages. Me, as I speak now today, there are some people who have goods that have spent over a year at URA. And nobody will know this because the owners of these goods, some of them are introverts who will not open up to you. Even in a meeting, they'll just keep quiet and listen. The person who imported those goods on his behalf will keep lying to him. You see now the network is down. I think tomorrow it will be handled. The next day, you see now the officer who was supposed to release this container went for a burial. The next day, now you see we have issues with our TIN number. The other day he tells you, now you see our company had issues of registration. That's how they keep tossing people around. People are suffering. Today I have a young man who had just begun his business, the hardware business. He imported goods. They were delivered at Mastra Bond, which is located in New Zealand. They stole goods worth 15 millions from him. Do you think that gentleman will go back again? Because he had just begun his business. That's what we are in now. URA's main function is to collect taxes from us. It doesn't care, because we pay for the warehouse. We pay warehouse charges where our goods are kept. Some of them go to an extent of charging us power. Some of them charge us for expenses of a security guard. We are in a state of quagmire right now.
Oh, wow.
Unless if something is done. I don't think this importation business will prevail. Yeah.
So maybe let me ask this: what steps do you think the policymakers can take to create a balance between the revenue team and also you, the traders, so that you can create an affordability of access to property or items by the local person, the Ugandan out there?
You see, when you are riding on a horse and it collapses, I think the best thing you should do is to dismount. Instead of asking which food it ate last night, the type of shoes it wore last night, I think the best option should be to dismount. Okay. Because this is a standstill right now. People are suffering because of taxes. You are again imposing other new taxes. Nobody can afford. And Winston put it right. He said that for any nation to think that it can tax its citizens into prosperity is like a man standing in a bucket and try to use its sandals to lift himself. Yeah, okay. It is practically impossible. You cannot lift yourself.
But I feel like, how often do you interact with Uganda Revenue Authority?
Very often.
And nothing is yielding?
Nothing has yielded so far, because when you are an implementer of a policy, there are some forces behind you. Okay. Your main duty is to collect taxes. Whenever we approach these people, they tell us, no, for us we just implement. But this time round, they are not only implementing. They are the ones that suggested these values after being pestered by the Chinese.
Okay. And maybe someone is behind them to say so.
Yeah, it is obvious, and that's what they tell us. But it would be foolhardy for anyone to be told, if you are a milkman and you are told by your boss, you go and milk that cow. You squint your eyes and begin milking without looking at where the milk is coming from. Blood starts coming. You eventually kill the cow and the calf. Yeah.
That's a nice example.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That is interesting. Of course, you have to be a very, very big balance, which we are looking for. Maybe if as time is running away, if you could share out your last words, maybe.
I'm appealing to all traders who have been importing goods from various countries. That are some of them I've listed, and some I've not listed, because I've left out Congo, Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya. We import goods from all those countries. I think you should first wait until we get an official communication from KACITA Uganda, and I urge all people from different sectors, importers from different sectors, to set up committees, elect your leaders, so that when we have issues like this, we have a fallback position that we can use our leaders that are elected in our sectors to represent us when issues like this happen. But for now, don't import.
All right. Because
the moratorium ends on the 30th. I think this month doesn't have 30 days. It is, I think, 29 or 28.
Yeah, sure.
So you should wait until the official communication from KACITA, nothing else. Thank you.
All right, that is interesting, and I think I suggest, I wish you have had the call from your leaders, because what is happening, what is going to happen is what we don't know, but of course we hope for the best out of this. It has been very interesting to have you today join us, and of course Mr. Joseph, thank you so much for also joining us here today for Issues at Hand. We are powered by Protea Hotel by Marriott in Entebbe. It is Lovers Day, so please take someone there. They will be happy, and of course there will maybe somehow, somewhere, it could mark something in their lives. We appreciate that you joined us today. My name is Luke Majumba Lenaitwe, and we wish you a lovely day.
Issues at Hand, powered by
Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Comfort and luxury at its best.
This is Church of Uganda Family TV, enriching lives.